Does anyone have any suitable pre-podcast banter to share?
We've talked about Tom's new role as MP for Stowmarket, so that's fine.
Yeah.
What else are we talking about? I'm going to be the new drunk of Woodbridge, so something I look to embrace wholeheartedly.
So I need a life goal now. You guys have achieved yours.
Yeah.
Being MP and bench drunk. So what's mine?
What would you like to be, Chris? Is there anything particular, or do you feel you've got nothing left in your bucket list?
No, I'm done.
Done.
I think I ticked them all off. I own a pair of red sunglasses. Got a pineapple. I think I'm fine.
What more do you want in life?
What more do I need in life?
Rolling dice, pushing little grey plastic people around the tabletop.
That's it.
Well,
who wants to? Tom, have you done a play the intro yet?
Oh, I don't think I have. Well, I did. I've done it before, but play intro.
Beautifully done. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Dice Please, the bite-sized Blood Bowl podcast brought to you by the people at Bloodbowl Live. My name is Chris Coe. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Scott Bryant. Scott, hello.
Hello, Christopher. Hello, everyone.
And obviously, as always, joined by, in the flesh, Mr. Tom Hovell. Tom, hello, sir.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very good. Very, very good. This week for you, the most topical thing that's topical for us, at least, even if not anyone else, is I'll start by telling you. I'll tell you a tale. I had my
cocoa out.
Gather round the fire, children, for a tale.
That sounds rather creepy. Can I just disclaim? Can I just distance myself from that statement?
Gather round the fire, over 18s, for a tale. Does that sound better? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so
they'll arrest you, whatever, Chris.
Well, exactly. So I had my playoff game in our local league this week, and it went to extra time. And after extra time, it was still a draw, so it went to a roll-off. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what a roll-off is, it is a penalty shootout. It is first to 3 or best of 5, where you roll a d6 each and you re-roll a tie to see who goes through. It's a horrible way to lose a game on the luck of the dice in that way. And it's not always the nicest way to win a game because, it does feel a bit unfair on your opponent. But it did get us thinking of if you were to scrap the roll-off, scrap the current extra time system that we have got, what would you put in its place? So we have each of us, come up with an alternative to the extra time roll-off system that we have at the moment, and we're going to see whether any of them sound like viable alternatives or whether we have once again gone completely off the rails and come up with utter nonsense. And I'm going to send us straight over to the one and only Mr. Tom Hovell. Tom, if
Hello.
we were to ditch the roll-off, how would you resolve ties? What is your alternative to the roll-off?
So it's Blood Bowl. So you've got to have a punch-off. So the way it works is...
Right. Yeah.
You choose your player. So you can choose your champion in your team. And they meet each other on the halfway line. And they basically have 3 turns to either knock the opponent out or just get them off the pitch. And you've got 3 turns. So if you've got, like, for example, an ogre against a troll, for example, you first of all have to roll your negatrates and then you get to smack them. So,
what if I'm playing a team where I don't have a troll or an ogre and I've only got snotlings? Am I just up the creek?
You should have a troll on a snotling team.
Okay, then
The
if
answer
I
is
have
yes,
just
Scott, you are just
Skaven.
up Greek. Yes.
Yeah. You are,
Okay. So forget my skill as a coach playing a agile, squishy, stunty team in terms of managing to get through this match in the face of a brutal onslaught of absolute huge big guys and orcs and armor 10 and then that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can put a tree man in your team. You can put a big guy in any team. Can you?
So can I get the?
No, you can't.
No.
You can put a tree man in the. Oh no, you can't put ones in the
Elven Union
or
Amazons, Dark Elves,
High elves.
High Elves.
Well, oh well. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be at that point then. If you've got those teams, you shouldn't be at that point then.
Okay, so here's my question for you, Tom. So is this just a one-on-one, one player each, or are you still doing it in like a penalty shootout format where you pick 5, your opponent picks 5, you put them in an order, and you see who wins each face-off? Like, which way are we going with this?
That was quite good. Yeah, my initial thought was you just have one each.
He didn't have an initial thought. That's the thing. It's like, I just want to punch something.
Exactly.
I mean, I thought he was suggesting generally punching the other opponent in the face. So we've already taken a step back to where I thought we were.
Well,
so
actually, can I just jump in there though? My first suggestion, it actually says bare knuckle fight in the skip. I thought that's a bit of a win-win for people can vent their anger, their frustration, their desire to win, and obviously for skip hire companies everywhere, it's a win-win. We'll move back to Tom now anyway. So that might not work.
I'm basically going to say you got two, one each player each. And what you do is you basically whoever's turn was last goes second. So if you kind of thing, then they go backwards and forwards. So for example, if you did it where you knock them down, you either knock them down or stun them. That player can then get straight back up, ignores stun, and has their go. If you do a knockout, then it's over. Or actually break armor and kill them, it's over as well. That's where
okay. So let's play this out then. So let's say it's Norse versus Amazons, or let's go simple. Let's go humans versus elves. I put a human blitzer on the line. The elves put the elf blitzer on the line, and the face up, and the humans go first, right? And then
how do you decide who goes first? Do you roll a dice?
I was going to say that if, say, for example, Scott, you're the very last turn, okay? The person whose turn it was going to be next goes first.
So basically, if I decide
so it sticks with turn order, then
it's turn order.
Right, okay.
So it doesn't incentivize me to kick first and receive at the start of the second half.
All tactical play, you see.
Well, you don't want to go to extra time, and you want to get it done, don't you? So
but I'm just thinking,
if you're preparing for extra time before you've started turn 9, something's gone wrong, Scott. You need to. That's not.
You'd go for Southgate rules.
So I'm strength 3. So does it take the strength into account then as well? Like, for example, if you picked an ogre and I picked a snotling, and am I rolling 3 dice uphill against you? Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, just straight up punch up.
Okay. And if you knock me down on my then turn, can I stand up and punch you as long as I haven't broken armor, or can I only stand up?
No, you can stand up and punch me.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like this
is going to go on. This will go on for more than. Is this coming after the extra 8?
And then you get 3 turns, and then it's the best of 3.
If you're ogres or something like that, you would play for extra time because you're going to always comfortably have, or Tomb Kings, like you're going to.
But then equally, is that as difficult as going for touchdowns. You know, this is the difficult thing. You're going to have to be a very good coach to manage that kind of 4-4.
Or you're going to have to be the unluckiest person in the world and end up in some sort of Kafka-esque hell. Just never ending, me punching you, punching me, punching you. Good God, it's purgatory on plastic.
You were doing a big hour, didn't you? Me punching you, punching me, punching you.
I think there is something. I think there is something to this, but I think maybe you would do it as a penalty. You would do it penalty shootout wise, and each coach would have to decide before
their order,
and maybe you then limit it to like one per positional. So like ogres, you can just put 5 ogres on. Norse team, you would only have 1 off one or 1 berserker, and then the order that you pick compared to the order your opponent picks could then create for some interesting matchups. But I like it as a place to start. I'm now gonna dazzle you with my idea here. Now I'm getting rid of roll off here, and I'm also getting rid of extra time, and I'm replacing it with an entirely new system. So here is what you replace it with. And I think it's a similar system to what they have in American football to a degree. So once you've done 16 turns, you roll to see who kicks off first. And then you are playing basically a game of sevens. So you have to stick with the sevens rules with how many players on the pitch and things like that. But the way that it works is if you receive the ball, you don't have to pick it up. You are given that ball, but you're given that ball to a player at the very back, like in your end zone. Okay. So you can just choose a player, give them that ball. You then have to score. So you've got 6 turns. You have to score. If you don't score, your opponent has successfully defended, and therefore they win. If you do score, the half ends, you reset, your opponent then has the ball, and then your opponent has to score to take it to another round. So it puts a little bit of emphasis on the fact that good defending could win you the game. If you both play a half of sevens, then it cuts down from having 6 turns and 7 players on the pitch for the next kind of round. If like I've scored, then you've scored. For the next round, you're cut down to you've only got 5 turns, and you can also only have 5 players on the pitch. And then you try again, you do the same again. Then you cut down to 3, and you keep cutting down until you're going to end up in a position where someone is going to win the role to defend, and the other person's just not going to have the players or time to attack. And then it gets a bit random at the end there, but you've had plenty of opportunity beforehand to try and score or to try and successfully defend.
So just to confirm then, you start with 6 turns each, and then it drops to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Potentially it can go all the way to 1. That could be another 21 turns.
Yeah.
That's longer than extra time.
Getting rid of, you're going to get rid of current extra time and replace it with something that you feel is more streamlined, which is 21 turns, but with fewer players.
I never said it was more streamlined. I just don't want the roll off. And I think okay, maybe you cut down. You go from 7s with over 6 turns. You cut straight down to 4 turns and 4, and you cut then down to 2 turns and 2. Like you cut down in bigger. Yes, there's still a good chance that you're going to play a lot more, but we know that a half of Blood Bowl can take an hour and a half sometimes, and we also know that an entire 7s game can take you about an hour. And I think that then I think the thing I like about it is it puts the emphasis on the fact that if you can successfully defend, then you have done enough to win, which I think is not recognized enough in Blood Bowl.
That makes sense. The one thing I have about it is you mentioned that it's going to be exactly like sevens, and that may not work because you only can have 4 positionals.
That's correct, Tom.
And some teams might have lots more positionals and only a few linemen.
Well, then you can only field 4 players, Tom, if you've got no linemen left.
Hey, Chris, has anyone talked to you about teaching and being a patronising teacher? I think there's a career opportunity that we missed earlier. Yes, Tom. Tom. Beautiful.
What I'm trying to pull from here is American football, where there is the kind of emphasis on if you can successfully defend, then you've kind of won. And also ice hockey, where when you go into extra time in ice hockey, you have less players. You can't field all the players. So if you've only got positionals left, or then you are more hampered, possibly. But that might not. I think a lot of the time, for most teams, the positionals are the ones that you target. There's not many teams where you target the lineman. So for most cases, you would end up. I think there's a good chance in a lot of cases you wouldn't be able to field 7 in that sevens game. But that's fine. It's a smaller pitch, smaller players, less turns. Play maybe a bit more.
Okay, cool. So,
Scott, what is your alternative?
So I went through several ideas in terms of what we should do. I did have some alternate non-Bloodbowl mechanics. So I thought the first one I mentioned earlier, bare knuckle fighting is skip, could be entertaining, could be slightly anti-legal, but never mind, or illegal as it's known. My second one was second one was a quiz. Why not get Justin involved? That'll make you finish your match. Especially when we talk about high elves and things. So, quiz. Third one. This is one of my favorites. Both players do an interpretation of the game they've just played in the form of contemporary dance. So it's like a dance off. And the points are based on.
We're ending Bloodbowl. No, I'm done.
There you go, listeners. You hear the first. Points will be based on artistic merits, style, costume, lycra. I actually mentioned that to domestic management here, and they endorsed that 100%. So I can't get better accreditation than that. So I did, though, think of, well, maybe I better be semi-competent and semi-intelligent for this part of it. So I thought, what can we do? So I thought, well, either you reduce it. How can you reduce it? Well, at the moment, there's 5 dice. Scrap that. Just take, say, 3 dice. Do 1 dice roll, 3 dice, and you take the aggregate. So you roll 3 dice. The aggregate of yours, aggregate of mine. Don't mess around with 5. Just 1 dice roll in effect. Done. Second one I looked at is you reduce extra time. So do you go down to 4 turns each? And the one I like is I think we should go for what I would call the golden score. And basically, it's the first team to score, and then they win. But after each turn, so let's say, Chris, we were playing. After each turn, however many players you've got on the pitch, you roll a random dice, and one of them leaves or gets taken off randomly.
Ooh,
Even it could be your ball carrier, because maximum. This is my thought on this. If we were playing and someone kicks to you, that ball is usually going to go, unless you got kicked, to the safe square. Yeah. So if it lands within a square or 2 of the safe square, and then you get it and you do pick it up, how long is it going to take you to get down the other end? Well, unless you're Tomb Kings with 4, but most other people will have 5. Minimum. If you're Skaven, it's going to be even less than that. You just sort of go for it, but you do lose players at each turn. No. So first touchdown wins, even if you don't get the ball. So you've got to go YOLO in terms of trying to sack the ball carrier, dodging in, dodging out, doing whatever you can. But if you do that, then, of course, at the end of each turn, both sides lose a player. So that would be on my turn and then on your turn.
Okay.
So good. So if we start with 11, you start first. Then you're down. Then as soon as we finish your turn, you're down to 10. I'm down to 10. As soon as we finish my turn, you're down to 9. I'm down to 9, and so forth. So yeah, you get down to not a lot of players pretty quickly. And then if you're an edge team and you have the ball, Thank you very much.
Okay.
But don't forget, if you're an edge team and you just got one gutter runner with no skills, and you've got to go and punch maybe, I don't know, a flesh golem. Good luck, everybody.
So I'm not keen on the golden goal just because it favors whoever receives, doesn't it? Normally, like generally, but I do like this idea. So here's an addition which may be insane, but we'll see. Okay,
We like this. Yeah.
right. So you roll to see who goes first. First to score wins. What if you give both teams the ball?
Mm. I was going to suggest it just come to me and thought the same.
Multi-ball.
So if you got so that's an interesting one, because you're then fighting about, well, do you like leg it down the pitch or do you defend?
Yeah. Do you try and do both? Do you try and defend against whatever your opponent is about to do, and also leg your ball carrier down? You have to score with the ball you're given, I think, because otherwise it could be I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it could be a bit.
I think you do, and I think both balls will have to start in the opposite end zone.
Start in the opposite end zone.
So basically, if you're
get a player there,
or are you suggesting that there is a kickoff event for each side?
If you start with opposite end zones, so say for example, your ball is in my end in the end zone on my side, then then the gameplay could be I could go and get that ball and cage up.
All right.
and then send the rest of my team after the other ball.
I think maybe your ball is placed so the ball that I need to score in is just placed in my end zone. So I have to get it and go and score. Same that your ball is placed in your end zone, you have to get it and go and score, and then you have to bring it to the other side.
Yeah.
Because that would stop you just immediately be like, because if you could one-turn touchdown, you could just be like, all right, well, I just immediately chuck someone who can then just run and pick it up, and it's fine.
So therefore, so apologies if I got that technically arse around face, arse about face even. The ball, if my ball should be in my end zone, so I need to score, I need to go back into my end zone, pick it up, and then take it all the way down to your end zone to score.
Yeah, but you'll know that the ball is going to start in your end zone, so you would probably place a player there.
Yeah, you will have
to
be on the touch.
You will have to be on the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Okay, all right.
That'd be quite good, because then you're like, well, do I try and dodge out and go for my ball, or do I punch them? You're all going to be one big long line.
Oh, jeez, imagine that. That would be
I've got one other alternative.
Okay.
You swap teams for a half.
But then, do you win if you score? Do you win or do they win?
The coach wins. But how horrible would that be that you've lost?
But then if you're in a knockout part of a league, you could destroy your own team.
Yes, exactly.
But you could also be like, okay, so I'm you're in knockouts. Oh, because you got but then if you were being really petty, you'd be like, okay, right, I'm now playing Skaven. Okay, my gutter runner is gonna 3 dice uphill block the Croxagore in front of me. Oh no, he's dead. Well, you could get your, but then you would lose. Oh, yeah. Tom, you've made my brain hurt.
This is what happens when you take a week off, Tom. You come back with all ideas and forward planning and thinking. Creativity and ideas. We said it's not in our mission statement. Come on.
I just think I just think that'd be quite. For me, it'd be very humiliating just to see that I've got this far and then I've lost against my own team.
Cool. So we're all in agreement. Then it's going to be the dance off. Yeah, done.
Yeah. Dance off.
Absolutely
off.
not.
Cool.
Well, I think to be fair, we've got some solid we've got a few solid outcomes here that probably would all need some kind of playtest. We'll add it to our playtest list. Our playtest list is getting longer and longer by the podcast, so we'll add it to the list. Well, if you're listening and you're like, guys, all of these ideas suck, and I have the perfect way to not have to do a roll off and resolve tiebreakers, or if you're thinking, guys, just do a roll off and stop wasting so much energy, then Scott, how do people get in touch with us?
Or if you're a medical practitioner with concerns, you can get hold of us by emailing us at newdiceplease, all one word, all lowercase, newdiceplease@gmail.com. But we are also available via some other means. What are they, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. So we also are available on Bloodbowl Live, on Twitch, and also on YouTube if you don't catch us live. So good.
Perfect. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Scott, thank you very much. Tom, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another week's worth of idle rambling and arguments. We have been New Dice Please, and we will see you next time. Roll the music!